Hi there, theater addicts. This is Brianna, and I will be reviewing Carriage for you this evening. This is a Yellow Belt Productions at Studio 1398, and the playwright is Elisa McRae. And this is for your 2018 Vancouver Fringe review. I will be honest that I'm feeling a little bit nervous about the content of tonight's show. This is actually one of the only dramas or series performances that I will be reviewing this year. I was reading the blurb, and it talks about the Me Too movement, as well as families with a history of trauma and how family members support one another through that. This is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, as there is a lot of family trauma that I've helped various people heal through. So I'm hoping that this theme will, I guess, be touching and healing and heartwarming for me, and hopefully not too much. But after all, this is what art is about. It's about exploring topics that make us uncomfortable in ways that allow us to hopefully grow and learn and thrive. Carriage did have a bit at the Fringe for All, and the writer Elisa McRae did give us a lovely quote that I wrote down and thought was just perfect, that Carriage is a cup of tea in the Mexican fiesta that is Fringe. I'm looking forward to something a little bit quieter and a little more emotional, and hopefully I won't be crying in my after review, but maybe that's for the best too. Hello, theater addicts. This is Brianna, and welcome to this rainy Vancouver day of Fringe. I am post-reviewing Carriage. I actually viewed this performance last night, and I needed a day to recover from it. This is going to be a little bit of a different kind of review, as I really thought it was important to comment on the emotional nature of the content. I would say that this show should have come with some pretty strong trigger warnings. Had I known what the performance was going to be like, I probably would not have attended. As you'll recall from my preview, I come from a family with trauma, and I had some really strong emotional reactions to the nature of the play. I think it was actually a testament to the writing and the performance of the actors, as well as McRae's writing talent, as rather than feeling like I was watching a play where some traumatic events were unfolding, I felt rather that I was back in, well, frankly, my childhood, observing traumatic events firsthand. It should be noted that the play contains themes of childhood sexual trauma, and in the performance itself, you will be witness to verbal abuse, emotional abuse, as well as a great deal of yelling, raised voices, and some physical acts. Obviously, nothing like punching or anything like that, but a few instances of people throwing things or expressing their anger in more physical ways, as well as a couple instances of people sort of grabbing at others while they're having emotional reactions. I understand that initially it was not thought by the production company that there was any triggering concerns here, but I'm here to tell you that there was for someone like me. I want to be very clear that the play itself was incredible. The relationships between the characters were so believable. The content of the arguments and the discussions were deeply moving and authentic and real to what my experiences have been like in a family that's experiencing abuse and trauma. The tonality and the physicality of the actors was very real in expressing feelings of anger and outrage and frustration and sadness and grief. And I think that they are tackling very important topics that we need to be talking about. What does it mean to not be believed by people when you speak about your traumas and your abuses? What does it mean when other people's fear of reality causes them to distance themselves from your truth or to deny your truth? The recognition that trauma does not just affect the victim and the abuser, but also the people that take care of them and support them, and in some ways and sometimes don't know how to do that. I think one of the themes that really touched me particularly was how men and men in positions of support are affected when the women in their lives are abused, and how they so often feel that they have failed in their duty as men to look after us. I want to thank McRae and the amazing performers who put this piece together. I will do a much more technical write-up with your names and appropriately acknowledge you. I still, however, because I think it is important to talk about this, I think we need to, but I also think that it's important to have appropriate trigger warnings. I almost walked out twice, and I had troubles driving home last night and had to call my husband and debrief so that I felt safe to drive. I think if you are not someone who's in the thick of healing from your trauma, as I am, I think if you are someone who maybe has not experienced trauma, or if you're simply more in control of your reactions than I suppose I am, I really recommend going to see this production. It was beautiful and heart-wrenching and so important, but I really believe that there should have been trigger warnings to address some of the places where emotional reactions could come up for those that have been victims or victim supporters. So this was Brianna. I reviewed Carriage. And please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear if you took away something different, or if you saw something different in it, or if you had a similar experience to mine. Please join our YouTube and Facebook channels so that you can contribute to the conversation, and we'll see you at the next show.